Hi everyone, welcome back to Let's Play Yoshi Story for the Nintendo 64. In this episode, we're going to be going into page 2. Let's choose section 2-3, the jelly pipe. How sticky are things going to be inside of the jelly pipe? Well, let's find out. So the jelly pipe actually looks pretty weird. It looks like it's a sewer type area, and there's this weird goo on the bottom. Sometimes Yoshi can walk on it without having to worry about too much, but he sometimes, sinks into it a little bit, which is a little weird, but nothing to super worry about. So, one thing that I find interesting is pay attention to the background and of this level. It kind of looks like the whole place is made out of newspaper, doesn't it? So in the background you can see little Nintendos, maybe something that looks like it says N64, and in fact you might see there's one that says Yoshi, there's one that says Luigi. In fact, this is one of the very few areas of the game where they even reference Mario and Luigi at all over the course of the game. Admittedly, this is a Yoshi game, so there were very few references to Mario or Luigi in the course of this game. So the other stage in World 2 or in Level 2, I believe 2-4, the Torrential Maze, also does this thing. And then a speech by Baby Bowser also references the Mario Brothers. So we've already encountered a number of new enemies at this point. So those little water-looking like guys, I believe they're called dews. If you get hit by them, obviously Yoshi will get hurt. You can jump on top of them to make them dissolve, but that's about all you really have on your disposal. Do not try and lick them, because otherwise they'll leave a bad taste in Yoshi's mouth. It's probably rotten water anyway. The other ones that we saw were those little pink guys with the little wings. I believe those guys are called teehees. Teehees are pretty interesting creatures. They actually change in color from red to blue, or from pinkish to bluish, and depending on what color they are, affects how Yoshi reacts to them. If they are pink, then it's fine for Yoshi to eat them, but if they're blue, then they become a sour-tasting thing. Also, we have a question mark block, so we noticed that Yoshi was able to push that out of the way, and in fact, he could use it to elevate himself just enough to reach the Super Happy Heart in this situation. So that's pretty useful. These bosses appear in various levels, and you have to do different things with them. Sometimes you can just stomp them, and melons will pop out. Sometimes you have to push them. Sometimes you have to put two or more together in order for them to yield any kind of fruit. Whoa, Yoshi, you're falling a long way. Oh, we missed a turn somewhere. That's okay, we'll pick it up later. So right here, there's actually creatures who live in the goo, and there's another dewdrop, and it might have been hard to tell, but there was actually a melon back there. So, speaking of in this goo, yeah, it actually turns out that you can actually push blocks into the goo, and that will yield melons from them. This first part of the stage is actually pretty slow going, as you guys can tell. I mean, we're already 3 minutes in, we've only gotten 5 melons so far. So, again, we see these boxes, we see this weird goo. We want to push them in and see what happens. Fortunately, we got 6 melons in a row, so that actually allowed us to get a little happy heart. And in fact, notice that coin formation that appeared sometimes throughout the courses of the level. If you were in a certain spot, a coin formation will appear. This usually indicates that you're on the right track to actually getting a perfect melon run. Sometimes it pops up, sometimes it doesn't. So if you find it, that is super awesome. And if not, don't worry about it. In here we find that giant slug that our info box was telling us about a while ago. So notice that it said that it doesn't like the fireworks. So what you actually have to do then is you have to use Yoshi's eggs, and you can't just hit it with the eggs. You actually have to hit it just next. You have to have the eggs explode right next to the creature. That way, the creature gets hit by the residual fireworks that emerge from the egg exploding. Admittedly, this is a pretty straightforward task. 3 good shots, and that seems to take it down. What's your reward? Well, we get a Super Happy Heart. Awesomely done. So there's one of our 3. There aren't any melons in this room to worry about, so let's just grab a couple more eggs, and let's get out of here. So you guys notice we missed one turn already, and then there was that pipe too that looked like we could have turned into. It turns out that that pipe actually takes us back to the beginning of the stage. So I'm actually going to fast forward a little bit to where we get back to that other intersection that we missed while we were falling. And then indeed, here we are back at the beginning. Here we go, skipping ahead a little bit. That's where the other first happy heart was. Now let's be more careful and try and make our jump here. There we go, we made it this time. Nicely done, Yoshi. So arrow says to follow down, and here we go. Actually, another melon for us to find, and another pipe. So this pipe actually leads us to the second part of the stage. And then in the second part of the stage is where we will find all the rest of our melons. These little bird spike things, they roll down hills, so you have to be very careful with them, because you can't eat them for an egg. So of course there was a number of ways that we can go and a number of things to see right here. There's Poochie the dog. Poochie likes to help us out and point important things. There's so many question mark boxes and balls that we've already skipped, but don't worry, we'll come back around to them. We actually found this warp number 3 in the process. What's up this way? Oh, it's not that super happy heart, but there's a giant block and Boo Ghost, which conveniently walked out of the way. That's nice of them, thank you, Boo family. So like we already saw, with these question mark blocks, we can push them, we can dump them in the water and the jelly, we can stomp on them. So it turns out in this one we actually want to get it into the goo, into the jelly, but the jelly is so far away. Indeed, we have to drag it all the way back down here to the bottom just for it to yield a melon. But fortunately, once we've got that melon, we've got it. Awesome. This is a quick 5 coins, grab the 5 coins and you'll get the melon type situation. And notice down here is actually where we received our secret letter for this stage. This is one of the few stages that does not have its own proper minigame. So in fact, you just had to time your fruit so that you can get a little happy heart in that corner. Poochie the dog here is trying to tell us that there's something important. Finally, we found it. The way that the sniffing works is that if there's an exclamation mark above Yoshi's head, that means you're really close. If Yoshi starts jumping up and down, that means you're at the exact right spot. If Yoshi just starts sniffing really fast, you're kind of close, but you're not quite there yet. So it goes from sniffing really fast to the exclamation mark. What I'm pounding my head on right here is actually a block that holds a white Shy Guy. A white Shy Guy actually counts as an extra life if you can find it. There's always one per stage, and they only appear though if you have lost a Yoshi previously. So if one of your Yoshis have been captured by Baby Bowser, either it ran out of health or it fell down a pit of some sort. You guys might have seen that already happen in some of my videos. What's with these Boo families? You actually control the direction that the Boo family moves. They'll actually move in the opposite direction that you are walking, or that you hold your control stick. So right now I'm telling it I'm holding my control stick down so that the front Boo would move upward. And then the family of Boos just followed it afterwards. So it was really easy to just pick up the melon from it. And in fact, we're actually pretty close to the end of the stage now. Granted, we only have half the melons, but the last half of them are going to come pretty quickly. So we just found Miss Warp number 4, and like I already mentioned, we can actually eat these creatures for eggs. If we need to. So, can we get these all with one shot? Yes, we can. And we even got a banana. Whoops. I was meaning to grab the melon, but Yoshi's tongue accidentally reached too far and grabbed the banana instead. That's too bad. Of course that happens, and like I've already mentioned before, this is not going to be a 100% melon run. So I try my best to find as many of the melons as possible, but if I accidentally eat something else, so be it. In here is actually just another room of 3 melons. Can you get them all down in one shot? That's one way to get them all down in one shot. But just like that, we've seen melons and melons, plenty of melons. So in fact, we are very close to the end of this level now. Oops. There we go, just eat the creatures. Of course, when you're activated with your little happy heart, if you do a ground pound, any balloons or any bubbles that are around you will pop instantly. Oh, there's another Boo family. Can we grab the melon from them, perhaps? Maybe? Alright. We just need one more. Remember that box that was down at the bottom? Well, here's another one. make sure that you follow along this box and stay to the left side if you're going to do a ground pound. Actually, putting these two boxes together yields 2 melons. So in fact, there are all 30 melons for you. Of course, I ate 29 of them because I ate a banana by accident, but that's okay, that happens sometimes. Nicely done, Yoshi. Nicely done. So finishing up stage 2-3, here's our score. Nothing too fancy. Again, I wouldn't keep track of score too much, again, if you're just playing through, picking your different levels. I just have it here for continuity's sake for my videos. Let's go ahead and read from the storybook. The Yoshis decided to take a shortcut through a pipe that went underground. Below, it was dark and damp, and the creatures that lived there were ugly and slimy. They were scared, but they crawled through. What could be at the other end? The page turned, and the Yoshis grew happier. So indeed, that concludes section 2-3, or stage 2-3. So welcome to page 3, the skies. Feel free to choose your favorite level, and until then, this is Big Mac saying, later.